Hey, yo, I want to talk about what's next for Magic the Gathering in 2024. In this video we're going to go over the lineup of upcoming products and then I'm going to give you my thoughts and feelings on each of them as we go. Everything we'll be discussing here was announced at the Magic the Gathering 30th anniversary panel at Gen Con, entitled A Recap of MTG's Past, Present and Future. The video of the panel was uploaded to Magic's official YouTube page, link in the description, way back in August of 2023. So in all honesty, pretty much every screenshot you're going to see here was captured from that announcement panel, making this just a very belated reactions video. But one that will hopefully give you an idea of what to expect from WotC in the next 12 months. Assuming there aren't any delays, of course. Oh, and one last thing, I'm going to try not to be overly negative, but some of this stuff, man. Right, let's start. Q1, Ravnica Remastered, a draft environment that's set to release on the 12th of January. It's a combination of all three previous Ravnica blocks, plus some canonical Ravnican cards that appeared in other sets but weren't printed as part of those original blocks. I'm pleased with starting with this one first because, in my honest opinion, it's a remaster done right. First of all, unlike some other recent remaster sets, it's actually printed in paper, and not just a digital exclusive. Looking at you, Shadows over Innistrad Remastered. Secondly, it's not just taking every card and thoughtlessly jamming them into one big set. Looking at you, double feature. And third, they've gone out of their way to make this a celebration of the plane of Ravnica, not just the Ravnica blocks. Inclusions like Karlov of the Ghost Council, who clearly is from Ravnica, but has only previously been printed in a Commander set. Seeing his inclusion here, it gives me great hope for the upcoming Innistrad Remastered next year, and every remaster set thereafter. Remaster sets of a plane should be all about the flavour of the plane, and Ravnica Remastered is a big flavour win. And as long as the price is reasonable, I'm going to be a big fan of it. Next up is a draft set and the 99th Magic expansion, Murders of Karlov Manor. A top-down designed murder mystery also set on the plane of Ravnica, coming the 9th of February. This is being described as a backdrop set, meaning it features a plane that we've visited before, but with a new focus. And I'm just going to say it, I think this sucks. If Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow taught us anything, it's that sets that focus on a single event happening in a single place, like a wedding or a festival, or a fucking murder mystery, but needs to somehow also feature hundreds of creatures, spells and items representing every colour of Magic, then it's either going to feel really bloated, or, as has been the case previously, jammed with surplus characters and cards that don't pertain to the main theme and feel shoehorned in out of a sense of forced representation. Midnight Hunt was about red-green werewolves attacking white-green humans. Was there really any need for blue cards in that set? The theme of the set didn't need those cards, but you can't print a Magic set without blue and black in it, so they were just also there. You know what, I'm going to do another video expanding on my thoughts on this at some point, but let me ask you this. There's usually around 150 creatures printed in any given set. Have you ever read a good murder mystery with 150 characters in it? I doubt it. Next up, please stand by, because it's the Fallout Commander decks. Now I'm sure there's going to be people out there that love the Fallout franchise, and I'm sure these sets are going to sell very well, but I'm here to talk about Magic the Gathering cards, not Universes Beyond cards. Because they are not the same thing, and until I see Nicol Bolas appear in an episode of The Rings of Power, or Liliana pop up in an episode of The Walking Dead, then yeah, nah, I ain't interested. Doctor Who's got that new season about to start. What do you reckon the chances are they'll do an episode set on Armenket, or fly the TARDIS to Eldraine? Even with his time, space and dimension hopping, it's still slim, right? Into Q2, and release dates haven't been confirmed for many of these sets yet, and for some we have little more than a name, a concept and some imagery. But the first set of Q2 is Outlaws of Thunder Junction, the 100th Magic expansion, which is themed around the Wild West. It's an interesting concept and set of tropes to explore. For the younger players here, Magic used to have a kind of unspoken, no guns appearing in cards approach. But that went out the window with that minigun wielding redhead in Strixhaven. Honestly though, after that an Old West set was inevitable. I'm just surprised we got to Gangsters and Mafia of New Capenna first. The set itself has potential, though I doubt the entire plane is named Thunder Junction. So we do run that Crimson Vow Midnight Hunt risk of focusing too tightly on a single event again. And also the focus seems to be on existing characters from across the multiverse and if the designers don't feel the plane itself is interesting enough to support a set, without having to focus on one small area and then fill that small area with existing tried and tested characters the audience is already familiar with, then why visit a new plane at all? Could this not have just been set on a new region of Arcavios that we haven't visited yet? I mean, that only got introduced a few years ago and we know sod all about it outside of a school. Maybe we can actually explore some of the places that we've already introduced, allowing us as players to develop even a mild amount of investment in them before they're abandoned for the next new thing. Time will tell. Next up, Modern Horizons 3. Another Modern Horizons set, which this time is going to include double-face cards. These cards will skip standard and go straight into being playable in modern and eternal formats. And outside of that, I can't say much about this. I have liked some of the singles from previous Modern Horizons sets, but much like Modern Masters, I'm just priced out of ever buying a box of this. I'm poor, and these are just too much money. Hey, speaking of, making these videos is a full-time thing for me, and it's not something I'm going to be able to keep doing without your support. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, check out my Patreon below. This is not something I'm going to be able to keep regularly doing without your support. Thank you. Into Q3, and our final Q of the year. And I know what you're thinking. Doesn't Q stand for quarter? Why are there only 3 quarters? That's a very good question. I don't know. Maybe Q4 is just too far off for them to even vaguely confirm any release dates. But that doesn't ring true though. Magic sets spend years in development, so surely they must know by now, but whatever. Up next it's Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed. This set is going to be coming in a new type of booster. The Beyond booster. Fuck me sideways if we learned nothing. What was all that about having a bin-off draft and set boosters because too many different types of booster was confusing? And now we've got a brand new booster coming? I feel like this is another Aftermath debacle just waiting to happen. Are you Wizards of the Coast? Are you tired of the constant controversies over the shit decisions that you make? Well, you need to team up with a company that will make you look good by comparison. Ubisoft. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, do not Google it, unless you want to be really sad. But in short, Ubisoft is an interesting partner. Next up in Q3, and I'm going to read this quote from Mark Rosewater. Wilds of Eldraine was the start of the first Magic era, the first arc. Now we begin the start of the second arc, what we're calling the Dragonstorm arc. Why Dragonstorm? We'll get to that. Spoilers, he does not get to that. But for some reason that quote was all an introduction for the 101st Magic expansion, Bloomburrow. Yet another new plane that we'll be visiting for a single set. Like Thunder Junction, Strixhaven, Ikoria, New Capenna, and Kaldheim before it. However, with this set, I will concede that the premise probably couldn't have been done on an existing plane. And what is that concept? No humans. A plane of warrior and wizard animals, but all to their correct scale. It's Mouse Guard in a card game, and I'm going to be honest, this does look adorable. It also has the potential to evoke the fear of scale. That feeling of being tiny, a helpless creature, taking up arms to slay something far larger and mightier than yourself. I'm excited to see what could be done here. Also, this doesn't appear to be a set focused on a single event, but rather an exploration of the plane as a whole, giving us a chance to actually look at the different corners of the world and see how it ticks, and how each colour of magic is represented. Animals of the forest are usually restricted to red and green colours, but here they're going to have to do it all. What does that look like? Are there societies and civilizations on Bloomburrow? Is white represented by noble rabbits riding raccoon steeds into battle? Is black represented by a court of wizened owls willing to share their knowledge in exchange for some costly offering? Maybe blue is represented by squirrel lawkeepers, recording the events of their world through engraved nuts that they burrow away for safety. There's so much they could do with it, and this looks great. I'm excited for this one. Next up is Duskmourn House of Horror, a top-down designed modern horror set. What exactly does that mean? Well, Mark Rosewater says in the announcement that we should think of 70s and 80s horror, which if I'm being honest still doesn't exactly clear things up for me. I mean, Alien came out in 79 and that's a horror, but I doubt that's going to be referenced here. So is this set about slasher movies, or is it just the Stephen King set? Like, what are we doing here? So it's apparently yet another brand new plane that we've not visited before. But this time it's... the entire plane takes place inside of a giant mansion? So is this an artificial realm that was created by someone? Like Sarah's realm or Argentum, or the meditation plane, depending? And do people live here? Do they, get married and have children? Are there farms where they grow crops in the mansion's backyard or something? Or is this, as I fear, yet another instance of focusing on a single event and expecting it to be able to support 100 plus characters representing all 5 colours of magic? Like, what is it specifically that we're doing here that we couldn't have done in a haunted mansion on Innistrad? I mean, at least there we already have vampires and werewolves doing the standard monster tropes, but also more interesting concepts like Avranox the Mind Flail and Umbra Sphere Manifest covered too. We have things like Flesh Taker and the Meat Hook Massacre to represent modern slashers. There's demons, devils, and fallen angels from a biblical horror standpoint. And we've even got the Eldrazi doing the H.P. Lovecraft Eldritch horror thing. It feels to me that Innistrad already has all the bases covered in terms of horror creatures. So why is this a new plane? What new things is Duskmourn bringing to the table? How much space is there to explore in a horror setting, really? How is this set different from Innistrad? I can only fathom that Duskmourn is only really going to be able to distinguish itself by one or two unique ideas. But is that really going to be enough to flesh out an entire plane? Or will Duskmourn look very pretty but feel incredibly shallow? How much room is there really left to explore this space without treading on Innistrad's toes? Time will tell. Finally, mentioned but not represented in this video for some reason, we have Pioneer Masters, coming sometimes towards the end of 2024 as a digital-only Magic Arena set. They were as clear as they could be that no, this does not mean that Modern is coming to Arena, and no, a full Pioneer experience won't be either. But instead they're going to be making what they call Tournament Pioneer, which is going to be a collection of all of the cards required for tournament levels of play. I don't play Arena, I tried it, but I didn't like the economy. I disliked how they'll restrict cards, but not ban them outright, so that they can avoid having to refund you wildcards that you spent to get those now unplayable cards in the first place. Forcing you to spend even more money if you want to replace the cards that you just lost. So yeah, sorry Pioneer Masters, but you probably won't cross my mind again after this video. And that's it. That's Magic in 2024. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these products are you most excited for? Do you agree or disagree with any of my perspectives? I understand if you would. I feel like my takes are sometimes pretty controversial. I only really spoke about the information in that video that came out way back in August, so what new information has been revealed about these sets that I haven't included here? And be honest, did you Google the Ubisoft controversies? Well, that's on you. Can't say I didn't warn you. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you to my patrons whose names are on screen now. I'd also like to thank the sponsor for this video, me and my Patreon page, where you can get your name credited on screen too. Check out the link in the description below. Hit the like button, leave a comment, install an ad block. Most importantly, subscribe and share this video with a friend. Hit the notification bell and do all those things the algorithm loves. If you agree or disagree with any of my points, or if you want to see me do another video on another subject, let me know. And I will see you next time.